I just want to mention that I'm not actually on board for the one vengeance for all idea, though. I have a problem with vengeance. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Yeah.
It's not something that is ascribed to us. And with vengeance, there's a problem because an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. One justice for all. And the whole idea you see where they're blowing up the White House, they're blowing up effigies of Trump and Netanyahu and stuff, but they're not significant. They're not significantly understanding that that will be looked upon by the people who support this war as a real-time threat, right? Oh, they're after us now, right? They're going to come over and they're going to destroy our country, and so they're going to double. So it's going to double down back against them, because Don, as well as I do, that 30% of the base, these neocon followers who are, American exceptionalists. Now they're going to double down. They're going to triple down. So this is just going to lead to more problems. It's a wonderful piece of propaganda, but it's not the answer. It's wonderful that they're recognizing Rachel Corrie. That was really wonderful. And what we did as a culture when the Europeans came over and colonized North and South America. Yeah, horrible things were done. But there was a noble purpose behind it later on, the idea of the Bill of Rights, the idea of the American Constitution. All men are created equal, and that eventually Black people in the United States and Native people here in Canada did fight back for their power, and they recognize that it's an imperfect system, but the idea of the Bill of Rights is wonderful. The idea of the rights of man is wonderful. What Franklin FDR's vice president, Mr. Wallace, was trying to do, the rights of man, and at the end of World War II, is a noble cause, and that sort of idea gets shut down when you start talking about vengeance and you kill my kid, I'll kill your kid. Where does it end? Right? There should be reconciliation. This is not going in the right way.
No, it's not. But I mean, again, you can hardly. At this point, I can't really blame what we're doing to Iran and what we have done. We've screwed with them since the early 1950s when we overthrew Mossadegh. And I think I'm the only one left that's talking about the civilian airline. The U.S. shot down the Iranian civilian airline in 1988, killed 298 people on board. What would we do if somebody shot down one of our airplanes, a foreign government, and killed people? You're muted. I can't hear you. You're muted, I think.
Sorry.
Yes.
I said it was mentioned. They did mention that in that video. That was shown in there too.
Oh, I missed it.
In memory of the flights of Iranian.
Oh, okay. Well, they definitely should have missed that. I mentioned that because that was theirs. But I mean, we certainly didn't acknowledge. George H.W. Bush famously said, "America doesn't apologize." I mean, that's what he said. I mean, this is so it's kind of it wasn't quite as crude as Donald Trump stuff, but I mean, this is, and we obviously did it. And again, we just, much as Israel, when they attacked the Liberty, they didn't acknowledge it. We don't acknowledge it. And in fact, we blame the Iranians for it themselves. I remember at the time reading about it. It was only in the Spotlight, the little anti-Semitic newspaper. Nobody else covered it. But so we've done lots of horrible things to me, even when they had the hostages in Iran. They didn't kill any of them. They were, they were trying to, using whatever leverage they had, because we had been screwing around in their country forever. And again, this is what happens when that's why, George Washington's advice about no entangling alliances, John Quincy Adams, America doesn't go abroad in search of foreign monsters to destroy. That's what we're doing, the exact opposite. And we always have. And that's why Donald Trump was the first guy to come along, other than like Pat Buchanan and people that never got any votes. The first person that had a chance to win that talked about the senseless wars and America first. This is the farthest thing from America first imaginable. And you can see what happens. It's this, this is why I quote James Forrestal all the time, German Secretary of Defense, before they pushed him out of a window at Bethesda Naval Hospital, because he said, look, if this wasn't a great conspiracy, once in a while they'd make a mistake in our favor. There's nothing random about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always because, and these people aren't stupid. They look at, I mean, we just in the last 25 years, what we've done with the no-win wars, the situations in Iraq and Afghanistan alone. Why would you? What we're doing is it's going to be worse than Afghanistan, because Iran has even tougher terrain. It's bigger, and you have all these mountains. There's no way to win a war there. It's
92
ridiculous.
million people live there. It's 3 times the size of Iraq. It's twice the size of Afghanistan.
Yeah. And
And they
so it's
can't and the did you of course, you heard the Houthis have now entered the war, right? And they're gonna close the Red Sea. And guess what? The Houthis, bombed for 8 years by Saudi Arabia and a US coalition, and they're still there. You can't beat the Houthis, you're gonna oh my god, what are you guys
I
doing? Of
I I
course,
s I talked
unless
about it.
unless they don't wanna win the war after all, Don, because I wanna share this.
No, they
The
don't wanna
war is not
win.
meant to be won, as George Orwell said.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
war is not meant to be won, it is meant to be continuous. Hierarchical society is only possible on the basis of poverty and ignorance. In principle, the war effort is always planned to keep society on the brink of starvation. George Orwell, 1984. And here's a 30-second clip from Mr. Julian Assange, and I think this is when they really went after him.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan, and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e., the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
The idea is to have an endless war, not a successful war. Boom. That's how the
You do,
military industrial complex survives. That's I think we
because
learned that from Vietnam. Remember all the soldiers
yes,
and the generals, we're not being allowed to win this war. What's going on?
and it goes
Right?
back to Korea. It
Yeah.
goes back even before that, and MacArthur, I mean, MacArthur had a lot of faults, but MacArthur was a real soldier, and he attempted to win the war. I mean, why are you waging war if you're not gonna try to win it? And Truman fired him. Said, "No, no, no, we got demarcation zones, we got all these places you can't go. You can't have a those kind of ridiculous rules of engagement." So Korea was a pointless bloodletting for nothing, and I recently wrote about war on Substack when I talked about the death totals from all these military misadventures. Vietnam, we know more about because it was even more ridiculous and, again, senseless bloodletting. And then from then, all our, senseless wars in the Middle East, and we haven't won any of them. And we're not gonna try because they know they can't win this. I mean, they may be using Donald Trump because he's now got dementia or something, and he can't figure it out anyhow. But those people know that they can't win this war. Pete Hegseth, I mean, if you think how are you and I said my sister married an Iranian, so I have a connection there. I've met so many Iranians over the years, and, they're great people, but the men are very macho, way more macho than in this country, and they are never gonna back down. They don't care what the odds are. That's why you see the great little Palestinian kids throwing rocks at the tanks. That's what they have in them. They believe, they have to fight with what they have. You're gonna have to kill every last one of them, and I'm sure maybe Israel would like to do that at least. But, unless you're planning to do that, and that's gonna take a lot of money, a lot of time, you're gonna lose a lot of your people to begin with, you're gonna completely bankrupt your country. I don't think that's what they want, but I do think as Assange talked about and what Orwell wrote about, the war is meant to be it's not meant to be won. It's to distract us because look what's happened. Look what's distracted not only the Epstein files, but from
Mhm.
all the things that Trump falsely promised he was gonna do.
Mhm.
Doge was shut down. We're still paying taxes. He talked about getting rid of all income taxes and getting rid of the IRS, a $5,000 Doge refund, tariff refunds. All that's gone. And it's all on this stupid, pointless war in Iran. And he's been able to convert too many of the people in MAGA into mindless people who are now saying, "Yeah, that this is America first. Up is down, war is peace." It's ridiculous.